Dave here, how are you? Let's check if this stream is going to run or whether I'm going to be sitting here looking a little bit silly. Give me a couple of seconds, we'll wait for it to happen. It says it's starting, the stream health is looking fine. As I say, I'm just waiting for a confirmation and away we go. Still got the twirly thing. I'm doing, one of my machines has decided it wants to do a Windows update right at the moment as well. So we'll see how that affects me. I can either turn it off if the show starts to slow down in quality of image. Let me know, and I'll shut this other computer off, and it will probably die. But I don't know. Do you get sick of it? I don't know. Windows just seems to be updating every week at the moment. They've got a couple of versions of Windows 10 that have come to the end of their life, from what I just read. Now, what have we got on today? What have we got on today? We've got a few people in saying hello. I will click on this one so I can see who's here. Angler 1262, Scott Smith. Hey Dave, your fountain's screen was a nifty idea. I forgot Sanford, North Carolina. Good morning from John. And okay, this thing is saying that we've got feedback. It always throws up all this stuff when I don't really want to see it. Also, right at the moment, what I'll do is I'll just let people know who haven't watched the show before. The standard format of the show is the first 5 to 10 minutes can be a meet and greet and say g'day, and we'll go through a couple of viewers' projects, and then we'll get into the bones of the subject. Now, today I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to change the spark plugs on my car because I've never done it on this particular car, and it's gone past the end of its warranty period. And looking at the book, it said it should really have it done by now. So I will, and the reason I'm going to show it is because all the cars that I've ever serviced myself have, that sounds a bit strange, but you know what I mean, have had the spark plugs in the side of the motor. Very easy to get to, near the exhaust or the input, sorry, the air intake from the carburetor, from the manifolds. Or on the opposite side, I'm not sure, but you get where I'm coming from. The old Holdens had just a big straight motor. I had a couple of grey motor Holdens, I had a couple of red motor Holdens. Now for people outside Australia, you've got no idea what I'm talking about. But suffice to say, it was dead easy to change the spark plugs. We used to have feeler gauges, we'd set the gap on the spark plug, pop them in and away you'd go. That was all there was to it. Now my little car has got a twin overhead cam and all sorts of ram flow air and fuel injection and all that kind of stuff. Like it's not a slick car, it's just a little Hyundai baby thing, but it's got all this new technology in it, and I've only just recently discovered how to do that. So that will be the first thing. Then I'm going to move over to the drum sander, and I've got a piece of camphor that was given to me by someone. And I'm going to run through the drum sander for two reasons. I want to clean it up, just level it off a little bit. You remember that drum sanders are for sanding, they're not for thicknessing at all or for planing. So I will just use it a little bit that way. And then it will fill the room with a beautiful fragrance. And you'll also know today, when I move the cameras around, I'm going to be switching between two cameras. You know what I've had before when I've moved this camera that is set for exposure for this area here. Well, the other camera is just the same as this camera. I've set it to auto expose, and it does quite a good job. So I'll be using the second camera, and you should be able to see everything I'm doing and not worry about it. And also I'm going to show you a little trick with feeler gauges that if you haven't used them for a while and you don't want to get rid of the marking on them to tell you what thickness they are, I'll show you how to do that as well. Alright, so I'm going to keep on having a chat, so we will get into the meat of it in about another 6 minutes or so. I'm going to have a quick look down here to see if everyone's here. Okay, Andy, hi, Angler, looking and sounding good in Indiana. Wayne Jones, good morning, afternoon, evening to you all. Wayne, you are the reason, not that I exist, but you are the reason that I struggled along and tried to find a better solution for the cameras, because you were complaining more than anyone else about the glare. Now, thank you for that. Most people would have taken offense, but no, I take it on the chin. All right. moving down, Carl Karcher, greetings from Northern Kentucky. Carl, you made it. I'm surprised you're here. Cram, hi Dave, how are you? Your family are well. Fred Robbins, Dave from Yarnhill, Oregon. Bob Macker, morning. Bob, Merry Christmas to you. Mark Bongers, morning all over in Holland. Ian Kerry, g'day Dave. Good, thanks yourself. Not too bad, thanks Ian. I'm going to show a picture that you've sent to me and explain why you sent it to me as well a little bit later on in the show. Kevin Hopworth, hello Dave, Bainesville, Georgia. Dave M, g'day from Dave M in Wisconsin. And also, Dave, I'm going to do some more on your incubator, but I didn't get the time to put those last two images you sent through to me. I can't, when it's around about 5 hours before the show, I just haven't got time to do anything like that. So this is for anyone, if you want to send photos in to me, and I do appreciate it, please get them into me at least 24 hours before the time that it is right now. That would be a big help, because then I don't have a last minute panic. Jim Dockrell, Australian Civil Division of GM, just shut down, I believe. Yes, it did, Jim. Ian, morning Macca. Philippe, hello fellow woodworkers. Zane, morning from Canberra. Do you say Canberra or Canberra? Peter Harvey, Canberra. Now, no one else will know what that's all about. If you're outside of Australia, you will not know about Peter Harvey, Canberra. He's a cracker. I don't know if he's with us anymore, but that's such a shame. I always used to enjoy listening to him on the telly. G'day from Nashville for WP. Andy, love the weather features. Okay. Brian Shaw, morning Dave. Peter Robson, hey Dave, another hot day in Brisbane. It's getting warm here as well. Zane, yes, the latter. Canberra, not Canberra. Who calls it Canberra? Some people do. All right, I'm going to get into the show a little bit here. What I'll do right at the beginning, keep the channel afloat, use the affiliate links that I popped in the description boxes. That helps. What next? What next? What next? That's all I'll talk about that today. Interesting things from the week. Streams running well. Yes, all of that stuff. Don't mind helping a young bloke trying to get ahead. Well, thank you for that, Wade. Something that's happened during the week. I gave Barry another bath, but instead of a bath, dragged him into the shower with me, and you know, the handheld shower, because he's getting a little bit decrepit, the poor old boy. Anyway, with all this heat, it's important with your dogs, keep them cool. Like that's in Australia. We've had some really stinking hot days. I had a 44 degrees Celsius, which is 111 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale. So, you know, watch out for your pets. Keep them cool, plenty of water for them. And as I say with Barry, I gave him a bath or a shower, and because he was going as pugs do. But he doesn't do that anymore at the moment because he's happy all of the oil build up on his skin is gone. It also helped to remove a lot of the molt that he's having at the moment trying to cool down. All right, what's the next thing? Okay, the fish pond video. What did you think of that? I was going to do all sorts of weird and wonderful ways of supporting that security grill. And if anyone wants details of where I got all that grill and where I got the probably powder-coated aluminium tubing, I got it from Urich Aluminium down in Smithfield. Now, it's an interesting place. When you rock up there, you'll be able to find it. Just put in Urich Smithfield Aluminium and it'll pop up. When you get there, the front area that you park at is basically for people visiting the office. So the office is we don't talk to anyone here. You go around the back if you want to get stuff for the trade, which I did. Anyway, there was a gentleman around the back who was very helpful. It was a 20 questions kind of thing, because I guess he gets inundated with people that got no idea what they're after, because it says welcome to handyman, tradesman and all. So I classified myself in the all department. So I went, had a quick chat to him, eventually got through what we wanted, and I changed the order halfway through and there was not a problem. He was so good. Gave me a hand throwing it on the back of in the car and brought it home. And as I say, I've been wondering, you know, where am I going to get all this product from? Well, it was easy and it didn't cost a lot of money either. So the pond is great. You see I could walk around on the top of the grill as well, which really gives me a good feeling of security if I have visitors. Let me leave it at that. I know there's a lot of legalities as far as those ponds are concerned. If it's deeper than 300 millimeters, then you're you've got a situation where you've got to be extremely careful how you approach all of that. So if you want to build the same grill as I've done, that's great. I don't have any control over your build, so I can't recommend that you do it, but you can see where I'm coming from there. Okay, next thing. Still running well. Okay, now here you go. What I'm going to do is, while I'm just quickly running around here trying to get myself sorted, there we go. I'm going to throw this over, have a look. Now, how long do you reckon you would last if you had that in your lounge room? Not long. Long enough? You don't know? Tell you what, that's a very brave person to leave a drill press in their lounge. But anyway, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not the only mad person around. What have I got next here? All right, Ian Kerry. Okay, Ian, you ready? Here comes your part in the sun. Now, I'll read this for you. Ian flicked this up to me and he said, my darling wife, he wasn't approaching me there, he's just saying, my darling wife showed me a photo of an item that she wanted to make as a gift for a couple of her sewing friends, and of course, I would be required to whip up the woodwork part of the exercise as my contribution. The picture had no dimensions, nothing to give any clue as to relevant size, so I just winged it, and as it turns out, my ability to read her mind came up trumps. That's just what I wanted, was the exclamation on seeing the first one I had made. She then proceeded to make the hand-embroidered panels to be fixed to the wood. Isn't it good when you can get to combine interests for a good outcome? Happy wife, happy life. Merry Christmas, Dave, and all the faithful followers. Keep it sharp and keep it safe. I'll tell you what, Ian, never a truer word spoken than happy wife, happy life. Back to this one here again. So I had only one hiccup so far today, so I think I've been going well. Where are we? Okay, Zane, I remember we provide you all respite by housing all of those politicians for majority of the year. Indeed you do. Thank you for that, Zane. Put a clamshell pool out in the shade for him. Yeah, but he's actually got to walk out there and be interested enough to tread in it. He used to go and sit in the pond, like in the dam, and he knows that it's kind of got a fall. It's like a wedge, the bottom of the dam. So it's nothing at one and gets a bit deeper at the other. So he walks into where he's feeling comfortable and just sit there and go in the middle of the pond. Crazy dog. Dave, too hot for me, but then again, it does not snow in the outback. Well, we get snow here though. I'm up in the mountains and it was 44 degrees up here. Actually, it was 42 here, 44 in Penrith. That's down on the plains. But up in the mountains, well, they're not really mountains, they're hills. You could call them the Blue Hills. We're around about 700 metres above sea level. It is not Mount Everest by any stretch of the imagination. What do we got here? Zane, and if necessary, you can join him. Of course I could. Andy, you love the pond, thank you. Matthew Destin, morning from Brisbane, Queensland. I'll be very interested to see what you do with camphor as making a tabletop. Would love advice on moisture content of timber. Well, you know, Matthew, you can get a hold of a moisture meter. I think a pretty good moisture content for timber would be around anywhere 10 to 12%. Now, that's not wet, because remember, all those cells need some form of hydration, because that's what they are. They're organic. Even though they're dead, if you were to dry timber all the way out, it would just be gnarly, be horrible. And then it would start absorbing moisture from the air around you. So it's a happy medium. You can get, as I say, moisture meters to test that. What's the next thing? Matthew, I just spoke to you, Matthew. Zane, depends on who you share the room with. Bob Macker, mate, I wouldn't get the drill stand in the door. Michael Oliver, hello from California. All right, next thing. We've done Ian's bobbin, the drill press in the lounge room, and now I've got Dave Monet, who is patiently waiting there in the wings. And what I'll do, how about a trapdoor in the pond mesh for pump access? Well, I could do that, but undoing the legs on one side of the panel and pulling it out, I can get straight into the pump. Not a worry at all, John. So I kind of considered that, but it was going to make it a little bit more messy, and I didn't like the look of all this other stuff happening. Anyway, but thank you for that suggestion. Okay, now Dave Monet, I must make sure that I have audio on it, which I didn't. Now I do. Hold on, I've got the wrong audio on it. Let's go to that one, and I'm hoping I'm not going to get any sound bouncing around all over the place. I would have been getting echo everywhere. Okay, here we go. I'll flick this over to the other side. There we go. Now this is Dave Monet and the continuation of his incubator. There's nothing really for me to talk about in this. There's the fan, and Dave did some tongue and groove joining with a V-joint and glued all that together. I think this is an oak cabinet, and there's a badge on it, and his glue bot. I think that ran out. What do you think of those glue bots? They're pretty cool, I reckon. And the outside. Now this is the Hilton. This is the bloody Hilton for chooks. What better nursery would you like to have been born in than Dave's incubator? This is absolutely amazing. And just about finished. And he has put the thermostats on it now. And look at that edge, how beautiful is that? He's got the thermostats on it, and he's put some switches on as well. And I haven't got them here at the moment, and I will bring them next week, I hope, to the show so everyone can see what's happening. Wilson, Jay, morning, Dave, everyone. So we're only a couple of minutes away from actually getting into the demonstrations. I tick things off as I get to them. Next one will be Louis Uberg. Now Louis has got a couple of things here that you want to talk about or to show us. Test one. No, that's not noisy enough. I need to change the microphone again. I was a bit slack, wasn't I? There we go. That's better. And fix this here as well. Now tell me, are you getting any echo or not? Sounds good. Okay, now Louis, I've got some story here. Louis, my wife wanted some skincare products for Christmas, but to make it a little more interesting, I made the wrapping out of some wood her father had in his barn. And the inside bottom was a piece of hardwood floor. I used Osmo hard wax oil. How cool is that? Now he's also, oh, there's a bit of flooring in the bottom. Now Louis has also done some interesting stuff with his Capex. Well, there it is. Okay, he said, I made a fix for the hose to my Capex. It's always in the way. I used a ski card holder thingy. Now, everyone will know what a ski card holder thingy is. So that retracts and pulls the hose out of the way for him at all times. How cool is that? Okay, back to me again, because that's the way it works. It's my show. All right. Carl, for comparison, Amazon carries moisture meters priced from $13 to $300. Paid around $30 for mine. Yeah, you can get invasive or non-invasive. The invasive ones are no good for concrete if you want to measure the moisture content in concrete. If you think maybe you've got a leak in a concrete slab, like the plastic membrane, the waterproof membrane underneath, you may feel that it's broken. You get moisture coming through. That's the way of testing it. You'd need a non-invasive. When I say invasive, it's got the two pins, and you push it into the timber. Well, you can't, like that. You can't do that with concrete, obviously. Even though I have done it. You can't really do it. Okay, I think that's everyone done. What do you reckon, guys? Okay. Now, I'm going to show you the other camera. Test one, test one, test one. Yep, okay. Now, it's going to be a little quieter at the moment because it's way over there. Now, I think maybe we'll do the spark plugs over here to start with. So give me a second and we'll move this camera around. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. Alright, there we go. I'm moving this camera over to the other side and I'll be back with you guys in a second. Okay. Actually switch the cameras and we shall go to there. Alright, now I am coming over here. I don't know if you can see me. There we go. There you go. Here I am. Now this is quite dark here. I reckon these cameras are great. I'm going to bring that camera down even closer. I'm going to put it on stool. This is the area that the spark plugs are in. You can see, as I say, all of this newfangled stuff was never there in the cars when I had a hold. These are ram tubes, I guess, for the air to go in with the, well, I don't know, just for the air. You've got the injectors here and exhausts all on the other side. It's all very efficient, isn't it? I'll bring this up a bit closer because I don't know how many of you are out there. I'll flip this down. There. Let me have a look here. I'm just doing quick reading. Morning, Michael. Matthew, you've got a prong moisture meter, all timber, all edged, and camphor. Newish, unseasoned, around 13 to 17%. All right, 10 millimeters. I need my glasses for this part. Okay, is the stream still running okay, guys? That's not a 10 millimeter. That's just crazy. That's big. All right. Now, that works. I'll undo these. I've got a little shelf there. Also, these cars have got little protectors over the top of the, you can see me, I'm not really care. They've got protectors sitting on top of the battery terminals. In the old days, I can remember once with my father, and we were working on a motor, and I put the spanner down here on top of the terminals, and you should have seen the look on his face. The thing started glowing red, because the ampage in these things is immense. People just don't realise. So there's a bit of a protection. Don't ever rest tools on a battery. It's not going to end well. Now you might be going, Dave, this is supposed to be a woodworking channel. Well, it is, but do any of you drive cars? You know, that's so convenient. I like to do all the work on my own cars, if I can. My son-in-law's a mechanic as well, and so for the intense stuff, he gives me a hand. But servicing the car and changing plugs and putting water in it, topping all these other things up, I do it all. Changing the oil filter, look at that. Now look what's down in there. These are the tops of the cables that run down onto the top of the spark plug. That's a long way down in there. I don't know if... I'm going to have a look at something here about there, the second button up, and see if I can see it. No. Let's tip that up slightly. To about there. All right. Do a quick read. How about some thumbs up? Okay, good. Stream and good. Excellent. David. Demo. Okay. All right. Can you see me now? I've moved this back a little bit. This is crazy. That should be a whole lot better. There we go. All right. So as I say, these things here are the tops of the rods that go down for spark plugs. And very conveniently on this little car, they're the same size nut. So these are all 10 millimeters. So it's going to be just a little bit bigger than 3/8 for you guys that are still in Imperial Land. Let's see if I can be able to get that off. Can you hear me all right, guys? That's the question. Is the volume coming through okay? And the last one there. Don't drop things down there. It's a long way down there. There's a lot of plumbing down there. Now the other thing with these that I've found is when you're taking them out, these tubes, you don't have to worry too much about whether you've got them all in sequence. When I was a kid and we'd change the spark plugs in a car, or an ordinary car like a Holden, you can bugger up the sequence as you're putting the leads back on the plugs, and you have misfiring everywhere. But these are pretty good. So they all slide up. I try and pull them up at the same time, and then rest them to the side. See, they all came up in series, and that's a long way down. I'll tell you what, I'll get the spanner. I'm hoping I've got the right, plug spanner here. Yes, they're a bit tight. They're a massive long thread. And when I pull them out, you'll have a look and think, wow, that's terrible. They're not that's terrible, but they're in a bad state. And I've noticed the car's been going a bit dodgy. Lacked a bit of power. The thread on them is super long. Yeah, that's clear now. That one's not too bad. I'll bring it up closer so you can have a look. Can you see the length of the thread on the thing? Unbelievable. All right, now the new ones arrive with this cardboard tube on the end. That makes sure that the gap is correct. So I haven't got to worry too much about the gap there. I'll take this one out, put it straight in while I've got it. Okay, there we go. And this plug spanner also holds onto the spark plug. Do any of you guys do your own servicing on your vehicles, or do you take it to a mechanic? I find that the younger generation, well, a lot of the younger, I've got to be careful when I generalise, because I can upset a few people. I find generally you don't do these up too much. It's only a little bit. There's a torque setting I could use, but that's it. All I'm doing is trying to make sure that it seals. There's a lot of people that I know that don't do this because possibly they were never taught. So there you go. This is me teaching. Take that off, and it's a great feeling of job satisfaction. I don't know about you guys, but I get a buzz out of doing stuff for myself. If I can do it for myself, great. You save some dollars, well, generally, unless you stuff it up. And that one's not too good either. And you've got the job satisfaction, and when it's finished, you say, yeah, I did that. Yes, I'm going to have to take it up to Bathurst. Take it for a spin around the track, see how she goes. Leave Alan Moffat for dead. There's an old name, isn't it? How many people remember Alan Moffat? So we're halfway through. Isn't this an exciting show today? I like to mix it up a little. Otherwise, it just becomes a little bit boring. That one was a bit looser, wasn't it? Now I'm going to be doing this for about another, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll slide over to that camphor piece. I've got the wide drum sander already set up. That one, dodgy. I'm going to read a little bit. Volume's okay. We're going to need a 5/8 magnetic socket to get those plugs out of the tube. I'll watch your show and forget about cars. Gotta love a diesel ute. Jim Dockery, dab of conductive anti-seize compound on them threads. Yeah, possibly. You do, okay. take it to the dealer. I used to work on my own, but have to fix on my farm machine. I haven't done work on cars since a 186 red motor. Wayne, that takes me back. I had an EH Holden Premier automatic. Bought it second-hand. This had leather seats. It was like driving a lounge room. Yeah, a beautiful big lounge chair. It was a lovely car, except for the hydromatic, but you know, that's the way it goes. And in that car, I had a 161 shaved head, which increased the compression. That was a good thing about those days. You could muck around with it a little bit yourself. That's good. And you know, there were no real rules. Got you. It was good fun. It had extractors, so basically that's nice flowing tube for exhaust instead of a standard cast iron manifold for the exhaust. And it had a hot dog, which was the exhaust, which was the muffler instead of the ordinary muffler, and the exhaust came outside. And that was about it. Oh, I built a console for it as well. In my first year of my apprenticeship at Tech, I built this console and put foam on it, you know, the padded sponge roller, and black vinyl over the top. I had all the gauges mounted in it, the cartridge player. How cool is that? Cartridge player. Hardly anyone know what a cartridge player is. 8-track cartridge player. You know, I think about these things and I think to myself, I've been on the planet a long time to remember all this stuff. I lived it. We all lived it. Like, if you're my age, we all lived this kind of stuff. I think it's a bit sad that we're missing that. Yeah, I love the new technology, don't get me wrong. But I think we're starting to lose that handing down father to son kind of thing. Would you agree with me? I'm sure there's people out there that make sure that they do hand information down. Okay, David M. Where are you located? Taking the dealer contract. I keep telling the wife our next car will be a 1975 or earlier, pre-computer, and it will be a truck. Andy, well done. Jim, extractors over here are called headers. No charge translation service. Thanks for that, Jim. No yellow terror heads. No, I didn't use. I'll tell you what, I was envious of yellow terror heads, or yellow, Y-E-L-L-A, T-E-R-R-A. Was that yellow terror? I think it was that how it was spelled. But they were machined, you know, you just put a fancy name to something, and next thing you know, you get another 10 miles an hour out of the car because you had this done. I forget what the equations were, but I think it was something like for every $100 you spent on a car to soup it up, you get 1 extra mile an hour. Does that ring true with anyone? Does anyone remember that kind of saying? No, I'm talking about back in 1976, 1970, it'd be about 1976. Back in. But this is a great system. This is so much cleaner. I'm not getting filthy at all by any stretch of the imagination. Everything's gone back in. I haven't had to muck around with the connection on the end of that tube at all. It just slid straight over the top of the plugs. I haven't had to set the plugs at all. Like set the gap. That was all done for me. Now, I remember with the spark plug setting the gap with the feeler gauges, and you know, tap the electrode a little bit on a piece of the edge of the car just to close it up. Put the feeler gauges back in it again, or get a screwdriver and just sneak it open. And that was back in the days where we had points. Points. My first motorcycle was a Ducati 250 desmodronic valve, and it had electronic ignition. It was a single cylinder, and which I thought was fantastic. But the only problem is the drain hole on the actuator for the magneto, whatever it was that created the spark, was facing forwards and down. So every time I went through a puddle, the water would go straight up. Yeah, stop dead in its tracks. Next thing, there it is, the cover. Where did I put it? Over here. It's the only problem with everything about the black on it. Now, I've made sure everything's tightened up. The spark plugs are all in good. Put the cap back on. So it's a little bit of a mix-up from just your standard. Look at this, I haven't dropped one bolt or nut or anything down the back or down and through here. That's where one of those magnet on a sticks, you know, the telescopic stick with a magnet on the end to try and get things. You watch, they'll stuff everyone up and make bolts out of aluminium or something, or aluminum. Well, I'll tell you what, this is something that I had to do. Last week I changed the oil and the filter in this, because every time I change the oil, I'm throwing new oil filter in. And because I reckon it's just a waste of time not doing it. And I was thinking, why aren't I doing this on the show? You know, I've got this time where I could share what I'm doing with everyone. And there might be one or two people out there that say, you know what, I've never done this, I've never seen this done. You know, and great, this is exactly what I was talking about with father, passing things down father to son. Having said that, if I was to ask my son to change the spark plugs in this car, he would never have a clue. I was just too busy. I was way too busy, you know, just trying to make ends meet to have time to do that kind of stuff. And I wonder if that's happening at the moment as well. There we go. That part is finished. Beautiful. I bet you it starts and everything. All right. Move this one up here. What do you reckon? All right. So I think that is a pretty good spot to have. And look at that. We're moving along well. I'm going to switch the cameras back over to this one again. So that was a bit of fun. I was just mixing it up a little bit different. Angler, you wish they'd bring back 8 tracks. Yep. Brian Shaw. Ah, now you're going back. Lenny Rosso, hey from Ireland. Andy, Dave M. I live in South. Okay, so that's great. Okay, Steve Warbank. How are you, Stephen? The beauty of woodwork is that you can pass your knowledge on to younger generations. Yeah, well, look, I'm by no means a very smart person. I'm average, and I enjoy doing what I do. And if I can pass on a little bit of information from what I do, that's great. I'm not great with technology stuff. I can struggle through with computers, and a little bit here and there. I can, you know, a couple of software programs I can muck around with. But advanced maths, as in abstract mathematics, not a hope. My son is absolutely brilliant at it. So, but misses out on this part. Okay, Lenny, and agree, handing down knowledge is nice, father to son, but with age of computers, that's gone. That's why I got into working with wood to spend time with my son, 3 and 1, as they grow. Excellent. Carl, Dave, is your engine block aluminium or iron? Do you ever use a torque wrench on your spark plug? Well, Carl, I tell you what, I should have used, I've got a torque wrench there, and I should have used it. But I'm a little impatient. I know that on the spark plug, it's got those kind of soft washers that as you tighten it up, they compress. And so I was aware of that. I wasn't really reefing into it. I was pulling it up to what I thought, you know, I was probably within half a pound-foot of what they actually wanted. I've got no idea. Okay. John, it is important for all to share knowledge. Of course it is. Where are we up to? 22. Let's... Had enough of the chat for the moment. Not saying that I don't enjoy it. I do enjoy the chat. But there are also people out there who would like just to watch things. How many people we got watching at the moment? Guys, I've got no idea. Let me slide this across. And we might see if I slide... No, got no idea. Hold on. 51. Is that all? Crappy old change the spark plugs. I won't be changing the spark plugs again with only 51 people watching. What about thumbs up? Have we got any thumbs up happening? All right. Joe Brown, my father could do anything and I can as well, but don't remember him showing me how to do things. Well, that's an interesting point. That is a very interesting point. Here's the next thing. Talking about doing things for yourself, or even, I'm going to try and lead into that, bit of a segue into throwaway society. Now, see this is a jar of change. How many people just don't consider that even as being currency anymore? I throw, at the end of the day, I'll grab all the change out of my pocket and put it on the bedside table. I collect it, and then once every 6 months or so, I sort it all out. I sit down with a glass of wine and sort it all out, and I put it into those little bags that you can get from the bank and take it down to the bank. I was amazed the other day. I took it to the bank, and the young lady behind the counter said, you know, we get so many older people here because it's an oldish kind of a suburb, and they bring their change in, and for the year it'll pay for their car's registration. So that's pretty cool. When I talk about old people, I'm talking about Bob Macker and Ian Kerry, of course. So that'll get them talking. But you'll be amazed, there's none of this coin counting machines anymore. The last time I took money to a bank, there was this thing, they pour it in, and one of them spun, and another one was trays. And they shake the trays backwards and forwards, and the money had filtered down because it's all different sizes and different denominations. Now they've got scales. And she said to me, well, that one is 5 cents over. I'm like, how the hell does she know that? There's 100 5-cent pieces in there. She said, it's 5 cents over. I said, wow. Okay, Ian, Kerry, Carl, the i20 has a cast iron block and an aluminium cylinder head. There you go. Ian's a mechanic, so I'm actually not telling him anything. So he could probably come up here and do all my mechanical work for me. I wouldn't have to worry. There you go. Next thing, as I say, over here to the other camera, and everyone's hearing me still all right. I'm going to switch this one over now. Changes for Christmas. Bank has coin sorter for deposits. Okay. Now, here I am over here. I need to push that camera back a little and tilt her up. A bit more. There we go. I think everyone will be able to see that. Yep. That's good. Excellent. Okay, now this is my white drum sander. I've only used it a little bit, and as I've said to everyone, the reason I got it was because I know that in time I will use this a lot. And every time I go to use something like this, and it's not there, like before I bought it, it was a pain. I go, oh, if only I had got the machine. So this is not a rap to try and sell Carbotech product, because Carbotech don't support the channel. This is totally me. Now, it's just that I work there. I get a discount on the stuff as part of my remuneration. Now, this one, as I say, when you turn it on, you have to turn your conveyor belt up full speed, then you turn it down a little bit if you want to. Now, I'm going to keep the speed up. As I've said before, the reason I keep the speed up on the conveyor is that it doesn't burn, it doesn't get a sap buildup. I'm also going to be very good and put my alien mask on and put my plugs in. I'll read a little while I'm doing this. Cuffy's Woodwork. My bank has a counter. Just put the coins in it and it counts for me. Probably only counts every second. Every second coin. Shifty bags, eh? Now, this is still running with John Lafferty's battery that he made for me. This is brilliant. This is such a good thing. Thank you so much, John. Now, above me, you might hear a bit of sound because I've also got the room air filter running at the moment. Now, these things inside here, like a stethoscope, isn't it? If the back of this touches anything, it makes a hell of a noise straight into your ears. So keep it down a little bit, and I will plug the machine in. I love it, I love it, I love it. That's plugged in, and what else do I need? I need So I've got all this, I've got this, I've got that, I've got specs. I'll turn it on just to turn it on. How cool is that? There was a bit of aluminium. There was a bit of aluminium residue on the conveyor belt from when I was doing all the cutting here yesterday, or the day before. So I'll let that run. I need to turn the dust extractor on. And the remote for that will be around somewhere. There somewhere. I'll turn this off. The reason being, when the dust extractor starts, it draws a pretty heavy ampage. Now, quick read. Hi Dave, it looks hot there. I find it extremely difficult to concentrate in hot temperatures, especially while working in my shop. How do you handle the heat? This is Adventure in Wood. I've got air conditioning. So when it's hot, I come in here. This room's air conditioned. I did this on purpose. I spent many, many years out in the sun, building frames for people, you know, out in central New South Wales where it was stinking hot. And I'd had enough of that. So I've done my time in the sun. Lenny Rosser, spent my childhood around pirate radio and I picked up electronics that way. Enjoyed that and it gave me loads of years of memories. Joe Brown, I bet every teenager's car is 3 quarts low on oil. They never check it. Matthew D, lots of water from a fridge. I used to be a shop teacher in Charters Towers and it was brutally hot there. Yep, I'm not surprised. Charters Towers, I went through there once. Charters Towers, that's basically the edge of the cyclone territory, isn't it? Okay, you guys aren't going to hear me at all. This is the piece of camphor oil that I'm going to put through. As said, this has got a nice finish on it, but there's a couple of dents, and it's got a bit of a live edge. I don't know whether to keep this live edge, or sand it off, or actually run this around on the bandsaw and take it off totally. It's got a bit of character the way it is, but I want to sand that down a little more. It's pretty smooth at the moment, but I've got 80 grit paper on there to actually do the cutting, and then we'll see how we go. So you're not going to hear me, and we've got, see the time on the clubhouse wall? It's 11:45. So we've got a bit of time. Here we go. Now you might notice that I only adjusted the height once, and then I put it through for another 3 passes. I angled it as well, so it went through at a slight angle that way, and I tipped it so the head was over on the front of it was over on the right-hand side of the drum. So I'm trying to cut rather than slicing along on the same point because the paper may be irregular in its cutting pattern. So that's going well. I can feel the centre there is going. Oh, Oh, camphor laurel. Oh, isn't it brilliant? I love this stuff. Now I'm going to drop the height down a quarter, not even a quarter of a turn. I'll run it through again and let it cut, and I'm going to run through 4 more times at that. And the dust extraction, I've got to say, I'm very impressed with how it's collecting it. I was thinking that maybe I'd put a 4-inch port on here instead of the 2-inch port, but it seems to be going very, very well. I better close that so it doesn't lift off. All right, let's have a bit more chat. Okay, keep the live edge from Lenny. John, agreed. Adventures in wood. I have a new rule. I'm now going outside unless the temp is below my age. Ha! Matthew, damn that. Then it's 37 and I'm a hot weather kind of guy. Okay, Adventures in wood. Yes, leave the live edge sand, the camphor off with your festival leaf profile. Okay, right. I'm really loving camphor at the moment. Ryan Jones, leave the live edge. It looks grouse. Brianne, it's also pretty cheap for beautiful wood. Bob McIntyre, I just noticed your bobbin machine and trolley. What working height do you have there? Is it comfortable at that? Lenny, I will answer that in a second, Bob. Lenny, I'm 1 a.m. here, off to bed, catch you next video. Good night. And then John, would camphor be okay for a picture frame? I can smell it from here. Ian, look, I'm sure camphor laurel will be fine for a picture frame. I used it for the drawers in the 3-drawer pencil box. Very stable. I love camphor laurel. It's the do-all timber. Height. All right, while I'm there, Bob, I'll measure the height for you straight away. Where are we? 10 to 12. So the height is 1160. Bob? 1160. So for everyone else, that's 45.5 inches. It's a very comfortable height. Look, it could be down slightly lower. They tend to recommend elbow height. So it could be down 2 inches lower, and that would be fine. But this one, I think I'd made for my disc. Oh, sorry, I think this one may have been made for my thicknesser, you know, the CT330X that I used to have. And the height was there so that, no, tell a lie, this one was made for the 330X. No, this one was made for this and also for the sander that I used to own that now John owns. All right, let's run this lot again. We'll start up the big machine. Put this on. Put that on. Oh, I love this timber. Still needs a bit more. Still needs a bit more, but you can see the track is running right the way across. Should be able to see that there. The track is running right the way across here. It's just missing the edge. Actually, that's got just about all. That'll be very close to being able to hit it now with my ETS, the little Festool sound. A bit of a dent there, but that's okay. Beautiful. How nice is camphor off? Okay, guys, I'll switch from there over to the other camera again. I just realized, let me switch this over here. I just realized these are still around my neck. I never stuck them in my ear. It wasn't a big sound from the sand. It wasn't so bad. It's not like it was a machine that was cutting. It was pretty good. Alright, I'm going to do a little bit of a read and then we might call it a day. What do you reckon, guys? It's been fun. A little bit of a mix-up today. Bit of automotive. The video yesterday was cutting aluminium. And, you know, it's nothing to be scared of. Aluminium's easy to do. Just if you sand it. Be careful if you want to sand aluminium. It's explosive. So Festool makes specific dust extractors that you can use when you're sanding aluminium. Otherwise, if you want to sand aluminium, take it outside. Take it outside. Don't use a dust extractor, wear a helmet, and let it go all over the ground. That's Dave's tip. Alright. Where are we up to? James West, Oz Garbo Productions. Dave, do the Festool idea that Adventures in Wood... Do the Festool idea... Okay, yes, I will. I will. Ian Humphrey, do you have any side-to-side inconsistency with the sander? Ian, hold on, M. Humphrey. No. A couple of episodes back on the live stream, we sorted that machine out straight off. I showed you how to tune it. This one actually has shims on the conveyor belts table. And so I spent a little bit of time shimming it up and we ran timber through it and making sure that the same amount was coming off either side of the drum. And that machine is set up absolutely beautifully. No inconsistency with that at all. Both sides, when I was moving the timber around, I was getting equal cut. Okay, just about to buy one as a Chrissy present from the CEO. Okay. Rianne, Ian Humphrey, Dave did this on... Okay. Dave M, what's the moisture content on that slab? Do you have to sand both faces? I will sand both faces, but I wanted to get one dead flat, and then I may even attack it with my smoothing plane just a little bit, because I noticed there was a little bit of a dip. Now the other thing is I have had that sitting in the workshop for about a week on two gluts, so two pieces of timber, like skinny pieces of timber. It was sitting on top so the air could circulate around the whole lot of the timber. If you put a piece of timber down hard on another surface, one side only will dry out, the other side will maintain that moisture. Or also, the side that's facing up may absorb more moisture, so it works both ways. Okay, Tar, must have missed it. Rianne, okay, John Lafferty, fun show, thumbs up, people. Steve Wallbank. Thermite. What's thermite? Wayne Chance, are we on next week as Christmas Eve? I think we might be, Wayne. What the? You know, Christmas Eve, we might do a quick Christmas Eve show. It might run for 5 minutes. It might run for an hour. I might get a belly full of port for breakfast and make an absolute spectacle of myself, and it might go all day. You never can tell. But look, it doesn't matter. You'll see that there'll be an indication if you subscribe to the channel. You should get a little bell indicating that the show has started. So if you see that, jump on it. I don't know what video I'm going to do next week, or whether I'll get a video out next week, because it's so close to Christmas. We'll see how I'm traveling. But if I don't, forgive me for it, please. And okay, I will look it up. I will look it up, Steve. But look, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the show, give me a thumbs up. Let your friends know that I do this. It's a lot of people, well, you know, 99.9999 99% of the world have got no idea that I even exist. So there we go. Let's get 1% of the world knowing that I'm here. That'd be fun. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I shall see everyone next time. No bar humbug. Play your didgeridoo for us, Dave. You need a man trip, right? Joe Brown. Train rides together with Thermite. Okay, mate. Take some time off. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone.